Hey everybody, thanks so much for being here. I want to introduce Joel Moretta. He is a new agent here with us at the K Group. So yes, that makes him a K Grouper. I'm really excited that Joel is here because this man is a superstar. So we are going to talk about real estate today.
Yeah.
And we're going to have some fun doing so. We're off the cuff, right? And
Yeah.
we're just going to have some fun. So yeah,
Yeah.
you want to say something about yourself? Give us some
I'm happy to be a K grouper.
in the cameras.
I'm happy to be a K grouper. Well, I'm excited for all the opportunities we're gonna collaborate with, and I'm just excited for the future.
Yes, me too. I'm learning a lot from Joel, and I'm super excited to continue to learn more. And one of the things I'm really excited about also is that he likes doing videos and talking about real estate as well, which is right up my alley. And I haven't done a video in a while because long story, but we'll start today with let's see, we made some notes. We're going to talk about sellers and buyers because it's
Yeah.
a crazy market right now, and there's all kinds of feelings and ideas and fears out there. So tell me what you think about what's
Yeah.
going on.
There. Let's talk about sellers first. There's a lot of sellers, right, that
Yeah,
they feel like they need to sell
yeah,
for whatever reasons. So sellers usually have their own particular reasons,
right,
but they also feel that they have to wait, right? Like they need to wait for whatever other reasons. One of the reasons is interest rates, right?
right.
They think that it's better to wait
Mm-hmm.
a little bit longer because
Right,
right now interest rates are around, let's say, about 6.25, 6.5.
right,
They feel like, okay, maybe I'll go back to where 2020 and 2021, right? A lot of sellers think that.
right. And I don't think that's gonna happen. What do you think?
I don't think that's gonna happen
Right,
either. I mean, with 2020 and 2021, 2022, we saw it in 2%, 3%, right?
yes,
And then it went to like later on in 2023, it went like 4%. But I believe that the reason that happened was because we had COVID, right? And that
right,
happened, and obviously that was we were really, the country and the world was in a really bad situation. But our nation, that's why the interest rate was so low.
right.
I don't think that's gonna happen, and we don't want something like that
Drastic.
to happen. So we
Exactly.
don't want that to ever happen again. But
Right.
yeah, so a lot of sellers they're just waiting, right?
Hmm.
And I think that waiting game is kind of a little bit dangerous. What do you think?
It is. I think that waiting for that unicorn interest rate that we saw during that time is exactly that. Just, it was an extenuating circumstance. You will probably never see those interest rates again, not for a long, long time. Or, as you stated, when there's some sort of disaster going on. You know what? I'd rather put a little bit extra in interest rate than go through what we did,
Yeah.
not just the nation, but the rest of the world with COVID. It was devastating. So, what I'm trying to say is that also historically, interest rates are about what they are right now.
Mm-hmm.
The average interest rate has been in the 6 and 7% from what I understand, and it's either one thing or the other. For example, in the 80s, I believe interest rates were like 18% or
Yeah.
something like that. So, guys, 5, 6, and 7, trust me, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
And those of you who are out there on the sidelines waiting for interest rates to come back to those 2 or 3%, you're going to be waiting for a long time.
Yes. And that's exactly what I um, believe. I see also a lot of sellers that they're looking for the interest rates to go down, but
Right.
they're also going to be in the market to buy. So they're going to be sellers and they're going to turn
And
around and
buyers.
buy.
Right.
So they have a lot of sellers have a lot of equity, right? So we call
Yes.
it frozen equity because
Oh,
you have to do something in order to get it out, right? You need to
sure.
do a refi,
Sure.
cash out, to get it out. But that equity is there. But if you're gonna turn around, sell your home, and
Hmm.
then buy another home,
Right.
now you're kind of like in a different situation. The
Yes.
In the last 2 years, I say let's say about 22 to 23 and 23 to 24,
Right.
around there, the appreciation rate in our area, I say Hardin County
Okay.
and Meade County, our appreciation rate has been about 12% in
Wow.
those 2 years. So
Wow.
just imagine that in let's say 2023, you know, in let's say mid 2025,
Right.
the house that you wanted went up, let's say 10%. So that
Imagine
means
that.
it's just hot. You're gonna pay more
Right.
for the home. Yes, you're waiting for the interest rate to go down, but now that home that you probably saw for, you know, let's say 250,
Right.
now it's about
Exactly.
285. And I
Yes.
don't think that is worth it. It's better to buy at 250
Right.
than to buy at 285. Either way, the interest rate are still going to be almost the same, right? Because it
Exactly.
haven't been moving that much, the interest rates.
Right. And there's this really tired saying within our industry that and now I hear it all the time that says, you marry the house and you date the interest rate. Can you talk about that a little bit? What
I
does
mean,
that
you
mean?
find I always tell my clients to always let's look for the house that they feel is gonna be best for their family, right? Some
Exactly.
people are looking for their forever home or
Right.
their dream home, and I tell them, like you said, like you marry the house, so look for a house that's gonna work for you,
Right.
not in the short term, but in the long term that you could grow, either with your family or you could grow in any way you want to just your house to work for you. But
Exactly.
if you buy a home right now at let's say 6.5
Yeah.
and you're married the house, right? Like you
You married
said,
the house. Yes.
because I mean this is the house you fell in love with. But now the interest rate, you're not really liking the interest rate.
Right.
But now we'll wait. Let's wait until you have to wait about 6 months, right?
Right.
Because that's kind of like the magic number
Yeah.
to get refinanced. But then after 6 months, if the interest rates start going down, you could always go and refinance.
Exactly.
So
So that interest rate is going to, once you refinance, it's going to go lower. And you are then, once you're making your payments, you're going to have a more of that money going to the equity of the home
yes,
rather than the interest. And here's the bottom line, guys, is that it doesn't have to also be the home of your dreams. It can be a starter
hmm
home. The point is to get your foot in the door when it comes to investing in real estate. Because yes, some of us may think of our first home as, obtaining that American
yeah,
dream and so forth. But what you're not also realizing, and some people don't, is that the minute that you do buy your first home, your first real estate, is
hmm
that you are then becoming a real estate investor. That is an investment, not only just for
yeah,
you, but for your family members, for your children, which can transfer into generational wealth. And
yes.
that could be the beginning for that.
Yes, I that is a really good point. I mean, you have to get your foot in the door
Right.
because if you're just waiting for interest rates to go down, if you're a person that is actually looking at the interest rate,
Mm-hmm.
you're probably, you know, going crazy right now because one day the the 10-year treasury is like goes down a little bit and then interest rate goes down and then
Yes.
it goes up in the same day. So
Right.
interest rates are going up and down, up and down. I mean, it is better than before.
Right.
Right now, around 6.5, depending on
Okay.
your credit score and situation, financial situation. But
Exactly.
overall, you could always come and refinance. You might miss that chance on the home that you really want. And
Exactly.
it's I think it's just the best thing to do if you are in the market. If you're not in the market, then it's okay. You could just keep waiting and start, getting your stuff in order to make sure that when you are in the market, you're ready, right? You're like a
Exactly.
willing and able buyer,
Buyer. Right.
but if you're in the market right now, I believe that you you should be speaking with a real estate professional, a
That's right.
specialist like us, right?
That's right.
Like us, yeah, speak to us.
Come
And
on over and see us.
yeah,
We're
so I
here.
mean, like that we could help you because there is a lot of people that want to buy homes
Mm-hmm.
and they're waiting too long. Appreciation per year,
Yes.
it's the average right now is about 5%, but appreciation per year in this area, like I said, it was like 12% the last 2 years.
That's wonderful.
The longer you wait,
Right.
the more that house is gonna be.
Right.
So, if you wait, let's say 3 or 4 years, now this house is, let's say, 20% more.
Exactly.
Now you're probably gonna be priced out of that
That
area,
market.
that market, right? That price,
Exactly.
that house. Because if you like, let's say you want a 4 bedroom, 2.5 bath, let's
Right.
say 2,000 square feet, maybe like half an acre, right,
Yes.
in the land. And let's say that house in this area is like what, 350,
Exactly.
right? Around 350. So if right now you qualify for 350,
Right.
that house in 2 to 3 years is not going to be 350.
Right.
It might be in the 380s.
Exactly.
In 3 or 4 years, it might be in the 400, that house. But now, depending on your financial, I think, like your employment, your savings,
Mm-hmm.
your employment might not be. It might still, in 3 to 4 years, it might still be in the same. You might be in the same spot.
Okay.
Like maybe your wages hasn't increased. So now your wages are still
Stagnant.
in the 300s.
Right.
Let's say
I
you're
see.
200, let's say your approval is at 250 to 300, but now the house that you wanted now is in 380. You're priced out of that house.
Mm-hmm.
Now the houses that are 3 bedroom, 2 baths, let's say 1,500,
Mm-hmm.
now are in the 325. You see, like
Right.
the houses that you were not looking at, were like, well, I don't want that house. I want this house. I want the four
Right.
bedroom, 2.5 bath.
Yes.
Now that house is out of your range. The houses that you did not want, maybe the 3 bedroom, 2 bath,
Mm-hmm.
now is your range.
Exactly.
So when you're ready to buy, this is the house that you're gonna get, and you might be a little bit disappointed because your 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 financial situation cannot approve you for the $400,000 house. That's why I'm telling and say people just, if you are in the market,
Yeah.
and you could buy now, and you know that you're gonna buy in the next, you need to move in the next 3 to 5 years.
Yes.
Go ahead, do it now.
Exactly. And here's the thing: we don't have a graphic, but I'm sure we can put one in here. Historically, real estate, is like, but it's always eventually going up. Yeah, there may be some dips in there. It's like the stock market,
Mm-hmm.
right? It does have its dips, but historically, it always trends up.
Yeah.
Real estate, for it to have a really big dip, something very significant needs to happen, such as the 2007, 2008
Mm-hmm.
collapse. But, that's not happening. A lot of people are also talking about the bubble bursting again, how they're waiting for that bubble to burst. It's not going to happen, and I'll tell you why. Because of the interest rates going up, sellers are now having a harder time moving their properties, which in turn gives buyers more bargaining power.
Mm-hmm.
Now, buyers have more inventory to look at, and they are taking their time to make
Yeah.
a decision.
So don't take too much time.
Right. And so houses are now staying on the market a little bit longer, and prices
Yeah,
are
they are.
coming down somewhat. Not a whole lot, but they are coming down. And also, what I've noticed, because I look at the MLS every day, do you?
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And what I'm noticing is that it's slowing down, meaning people are not lowering prices of their homes as much anymore, which means that if you don't act soon, you may not have that buyer's market for very long,
Yeah.
and lose that opportunity to get into a home.
Yeah. And I also believe that, let's say, the spring and the summer is the hot market. You agree?
Yes.
And then after the fall, it kind of starts slowing down. Then winter comes. It's just slower, right?
It
The
gets
market
slow.
is very slow.
Yes.
I always tell my buyers and that if you really want like a bargain, that is the time. That is the time. From like September all the way to like, let's say, like February.
Okay.
That is the time. And the reason I'm saying is
That's
that the time is
interesting.
coming, right? The time is coming. Like winter is coming.
Yeah.
So it's from like now, September and on, like we could get you, I'm pretty sure you could do the same.
Yes.
Get them better deals, right? We could
Right.
negotiate better. We could get them closing costs. We could get concessions for anything that is needed in the home. Like it needs to be, you know, you need new carpet. We can do concessions for that because sellers are now eat more like they're ready. They're seasoned. They want to move their property because
and they're pressed, right? They're therefore, like I said, that bargaining power is now it's leveraging toward the buyer. So I do agree with Joel. I think this is the time. I am glad that you mentioned that the seasons also matter. For the sellers, it's a tough time, but that provides a buyer an opportunity to get a little bit more for their money.
Yeah, and it's like you see sometimes buyers when they're looking at and sellers, but sellers are also looking at, you know, talking to real estate agent because they also want to sell and buy. They always see a note, motivated seller. You know, I think every seller is motivated to sell. That's why they
have it on the market.
Yeah, that's why they have it on the market. But I do believe that in that time, that time frame, like the fall and the winter, all the way until I say end of February, like March.
Exactly.
They sellers, if they are on the market, they've probably been on the market for a while because it moves slower in those times.
Right.
If you talk, if they, you know, if the buyer client talks to real estate agents like us, they will get a better deal. Their deal terms and conditions are going to be better.
So what would we tell a seller who is trying to sell their property during that season, that slow season?
First of all, they gotta talk to us, right? Talk to us, and then we have to make sure that their house is priced correctly, right? You got to price your house correctly because the spring and the summer is a different market. There's a lot of people transitioning, moving, school is out, and
sorry,
you guys didn't hear that.
Turn my phone off.
There's a lot of things going on in the summertime,
right?
Especially with schools and a lot of transitioning, and especially in our area. Our area is a military community.
Yes, we have Fort Knox.
Yeah, we're in the Fort Knox military base area, and a lot of veterans.
Yes, a lot of back and forth.
A lot of active duty. They moving. They're transitioning from duty station, but. Back to the question. So, do you have to price your house correctly? The number that you had in mind in the summer, it might not be the number that you have now, the sale price. So, that is number one. The first 2 weeks of a listing is the most important because that's when your listing it's on everybody's faces, meaning it's being pushed to in like the Zillows or Realtor.com, the Trulia, the Redfins. It's being pushed as a new listing, and that is basically the perfect time for, you know, open houses and showings and all of that. Once that happens, and then it basically new listings are coming up, so your listing is getting pushed down. So if it's priced correctly, we're gonna get a lot of showings. We're gonna get a lot of interest. What we might even get into a multiple offer situation.
Ooh. I haven't been through one of those, but well, I almost was. But okay, so this is a super good point because I do feel that a lot of sellers, and myself included, there's a lot of emotion when it comes to putting your house up for sale. There's an emotional attachment to the home at times.
Yeah.
And when we think about putting our house up for sale, we think that it's worth so much more that perhaps maybe we're not as realistic. So what do you say to a seller who perhaps wants $20,000 or $30,000 above what, let's say, the market is willing to bear?
I will give them, you know, like in the military said, courses of action, right? So I'm gonna give you plan 1, 2, and 3. Plan 1 for me will be because you're hiring me to represent you as the seller, right? And to put your house on the market and to sell your house as soon as possible, right? You want to get on the contract and work that contract before I can take you to the closing, right? For you to get paid, right? Every seller wants to get paid. So that will be my first plan. My first plan will be for us to price your house correctly. And I'm going to tell you according to what I see in the multiple listing, right? The market, the MLS. and I'm gonna give you my professional advice on your price. Then the second thing is, the second plan will be if so I price you on the market,
Mm-hmm.
and the second plan will be to price you a little bit under the market. That
Okay.
would be my second. Like, okay, let's price it. We price it on the market.
Yes.
We still gonna get a lot of people looking at your listing. That's the first plan. If we price it a little bit under the market, let's say
Yes.
your house is 300,000, we price it at 285.
Yeah.
There's gonna buyers out there gonna see the
Mm-hmm.
benefit to going to your house, right? The third plan would be your plan. You want to price it 20% above the market, and that plan is gonna be very dangerous just because everybody's gonna know that your house is over the market, right?
Right.
Because
Right.
even when they're looking at social media or Zillow, or they're gonna see it. They're gonna see, like,
Mm-hmm.
even Zillow. They have a little thing that tells you this house is listed over. It gives you
Yes.
it's over the market.
Right.
And once also professional agents like ourselves see this house,
Mm.
we're also gonna advise our buyer client that this house is over the market.
Right.
So it will basically be pushed. If you get one or two showings, it's probably a lot, but sometimes you don't get any showings if it's
Yes.
above the market. And now most sellers want to sell as soon as possible, right?
Right.
So now I'm gonna tell that seller, my professional experiences where homes that are above the market is
Right.
that we basically strap on and hold on. We're gonna be on this ride for a long time, right?
Yes.
We're gonna be on the market for
For a while.
at least 30 to,
60
let's say,
days.
60 days at least. I mean, we might get an offer, and the offer, but for the most part, like,
Mm.
your house is gonna be pushed,
Right.
and it's gonna be probably forgotten, and we're gonna have to come back and do a price adjustment. You're not gonna like it because I'm gonna tell you, show you the same market analysis that I gave you from the beginning.
Right.
So my advice is always not to do that. Sellers do not
That's
not go above the market. Stay within the market, or we could get your house sold as soon as possible.
I agree. And I have a theory that just from talking to a lot of sellers out there is that they're still looking at the time of COVID, where not only were interest rates lower, but because of that, houses were selling really, really fast. And there were multiple offers, and there were bidding wars, and there was offers with 10, 20, 30,000 above asking just to get these homes. But remember, for at least for our area, Hardin County and Meade County, there were a lot of things going on at the time. Not only was Nucor coming in, but also Blue Oval coming in. Then the Fifth Corps with the Fort Knox brought in a lot of people. So there was a lot of influx of new residents to the area, and that is what caused a lot of demand for homes. That is no longer the case. So I think that many people out there are still expecting that activity when they put their houses up for sale. In fact, one client, I remember speaking with her about that and explaining to her that this is a different time. And according to research, the average day on market was about, I don't know, 50 days at the time. And she heard me. I remember we talked about it. She seemed to hear me and understand that. And when the house was not selling immediately, she was surprised. And once the house finally sold, which is about 60 days later, and a couple of adjustments, she said, "Wow, that was not what I was expecting." And my first experience selling a home, we sold it within a week, and so I was really off of my expectations. And I thought, but we talked about it. We talked about how different things were, but it's not sticking because, So I think that there's a disconnect with expectations out there. What do you think?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, a lot of sellers, they have that emotional attachment to their home, and that's okay. That's okay. But we have to also be reasonable because we're selling a home.
Yes.
And the market basically dictates. The market dictates.
The market does
And the
dictate.
buyer. I mean, the buyer also, sometimes if the house is a certain price, it might be a little bit over, and that if that buyer believes that that house is their dream home,
Right.
they will work on that deal.
Mhm.
And but that's like a unicorn. That's like buyers, believe me, sellers, buyers are not gonna bring their own money right into a deal. They want to finance everything.
Right.
That's what I would do. But that's what
Sure.
99.9% of the people do. But you made a good point. So with she was explaining about the blue oval and
New core.
new core coming in, and then also
Fifth core.
fifth core coming in into the Fort Knox. It was a new division coming in, or core, right? It's their core. But
Military talk.
yeah, so she made a good point, and the point is this: that there are certain times where the military is gonna be moving in this market. Moving being they PCSing. They're doing a permanent change of station.
I learned that.
Yes, they're doing a permanent change of station. And if you are trying to buy a house during that time, which is normally the summertime, but if you're trying to buy a house around that time, it's gonna be difficult. You know why?
Tell me.
Because you're competing with military members. You're competing with military members that are coming over here, and they need to buy. They need to buy a house.
Yes.
Because most of them buy houses. This is an area where Fort Knox has a lot of we call it top brass with high ranking active duty personnel, and also a lot of high ranking government civilians. Yeah.
Yes.
But you're competing with them. They come over here, and if they want to buy a $400,000 or $500,000 home, they're going to use their VA home loan, and they're going to buy it. You're gonna be competing with them.
Yes.
And this is what happens in this market and in every military market. You're competing with the active duty members, with the retired veterans, with the government contractors. They get basic housing allowance, right? And they also could buy a house with no down payment. And most of the time, I could sell a home with a veteran, and they're paying $2,000 or $3,000 in closing costs. Wow. So you're competing with
a very able buyer.
Yes, with a buyer that it's just they're gonna look at a house, they need it for 2 or 3 years, and they're gonna get the house and they're gonna move on. They're not buying this home because it's a personal attachment, or they're buying forever home. They buying this home because there is a need. They need to live there with their family for 2 or 3 years, and then when they sell,
that's right.
They sell it. They're not attached to this home.
That's right.
So if
it's
you're
a temporary home.
Yes, temporary. So if you're a buyer and you're from this area, we have to strategize. Right. How are we gonna compete? And that's what happened in those days in 2020, 2021, 2022, and even 2023. There was a lot of buyers in the market.
Yes.
And then a lot of buyers, there would be multiple offers.
Right. We got outbidded 4 times.
Yes. So the military member, not all, but most of them, they can put a little bit higher, or they can give a down payment if they want to. Exactly. They're just more. They're able and they're ready and able.
Yes, they have the resources, and that is tough to compete with. And you know what? My husband and I, we're military family, and even with some of those resources, we still had also a hard time. And I mean, we lived on post for a year until we were able to finally find out that we were, able to. But here's the thing. I think we should start wrapping up with things. I think this has been an amazing conversation. What I'd like to do, I mean, there's so much to talk about, so I think we're going to be doing this more often. And what I'd like to do next is talk about, as a buyer, because not only are we real estate professionals, but you are also
I'm also a mortgage broker.
A mortgage broker.
And I'll put my information on.
Yes. So this man has a plethora of information that can certainly prepare you and guide you to making the right decision. And I think I'm a big believer in speaking to not only a real estate professional, but a mortgage broker who can give you a path to where, so you can get ready to making that step
Yes.
of buying your
It's
first
always,
home.
yeah, it's always, you're correct. It's always good to connect with professionals, right?
Mm,
That are on your team, because we're going to be on your team, right? We're going to be advocate for
mhm.
you, and we're going to make sure that you all terms and conditions, right, of the, even the offer and even working the contract in the real estate side, that we're your advocate, right? Make
That's right.
sure, because I mean, I'm military too, and she's military. We believe that,
Mhm.
taking care of, you know taking care of people. That's one of the things that it's
That's right.
you know you know
Because we've been there, we've done that, and I want to pay it forward. I want to
hmm
help. And here's the thing: there were so many things that we did not know when we were, before we got into this industry, that now we do know. For me, it's important to share as much information as I can so that you make an informed decision. Y para la familia latina, también hablamos español y quiero decirles que estamos aquí también para ayudarles a ustedes en el lenguaje de que es para ustedes nativo y cómodo.
see. No, but it's for buyers out there, that it seems like they a lot of buyers out there, they want to buy, and
Mhm.
they have a good job, and they're saving, but they feel like, I still can't buy. I'll tell you this: call us. We'll go through all the scenarios, and also, a lot of buyers might think that they're not ready to buy,
Mhm.
right?
Yes, that's
But
true.
they are.
They
They are
are.
ready to buy. So I mean, as a mortgage broker, and also as a real estate, but as a mortgage broker, I see where a lot of buyers are like, well, my credit is only 620, I can't buy. And I'm like, I could get you qualified with that. It's
Right.
like, okay, my credit, we had a few hiccups, it's 600. We could get you we could get you approved with that.
Yeah.
It's the credit is important, but other things are also important.
Yes.
Your job history, how much money you have saved, and kind of
Exactly.
like your debt, the debt that you have.
Debt to income ratio.
Yes.
We'll talk
So
about that.
there's a lot of different ways that we could get you there. We could also help you with, um right, kind of getting your score. If you need a
Mm,
few points to get, we could, we have professionals that will help you with your credit score,
that's
like to
awesome.
rebuild. So
Okay.
there's a lot of ways. If you think you're gonna buy, right, contact us, and we'll sit down, and we'll do a meeting, right, and then we'll go over the options, because there's just a lot of buyers out there that they they feel like hopeless, but
Right.
but they could buy it right now.
Yes. And again, information, knowledge is power, right? They say that. So get the information that you need. Find out where you are. I keep saying this. Find out where you are now so that you can get ready to get to where you want to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So knowledge is power, but uh, that's not enough. It's also about taking action.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I said knowledge is power, but it's what you do with that knowledge, right? The
Exactly.
execution. Like,
That's
I can
right.
have all this knowledge and don't take any action.
Right.
I mean, that's one of my thing. Like, taking action.
Taking
That's like, you
action.
have to take action,
Yes.
even if it's. I heard this quote from somebody else, but they said slow motion is better than no motion.
Like,
Right? So it you're in slow motion, but
yeah.
you're still moving.
It's me this morning, but I got here.
Yeah.
All right. I think we should wrap up.
Yeah.
What do you think?
So
This,
I just want to say there's one last thing. Last
yeah.
thing. So for sellers
Yeah.
and for buyers, it's the same thing. So for sellers, if they thinking, you know, am I ready to sell? It's, X, Y, and Z, whatever they're thinking.
Yes.
The time to sell is now.
Now.
Is now. And for buyers, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
The time to buy is right now. I mean, because the situation could change tomorrow.
Exactly.
So you have to take the opportunity that you're getting right now.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely. Well, thanks guys for joining us here at the K Group Real Estate. This video will be on our social media platforms. Hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and follow us on Facebook. And we are here at 709 North Dixie Boulevard in the city of Radcliff. You can find us here at any time. Our information is going to be right down below. So we'll see you next time.